Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of MedVize TV, where pharmacists like myself give you the information you need to better manage your health and medications. Today we're going to talk about why insurance companies won't pay for your medications. It's never fun when you go to the pharmacy after getting a prescription, and when you go to pick up that prescription, you find out that your insurance company has not paid for that medication. And unfortunately, this can cause a lot of anger, frustration, and just, straight confusion as to what's going on and why you can't get your medication because it's potentially really expensive or it's just not going through your insurance. There are many reasons why your insurance company won't pay for your medications, but it's usually based off of either safety issues or because of cost issues. And because of this, your insurance company will create what's called a formulary, which is basically a list of drugs that are usually preferred by your insurance company in almost all types of drug classes to treat all different kinds of disease states. And if that drug is not part of that formulary, you might have some issues when you go to the pharmacy. And even if it's on that formulary, there are some times where you'll have some issues as well. And we're going to go over all those here today. So now this formulary can sometimes feel a little imposing because you have a relationship with your prescriber, they prescribe something for you, and then your insurance company is telling you that, no, this isn't good for you, or it's too expensive, or whatever the case may be. So, but hopefully this video will be able to give you a little bit more knowledge as to why these things happen, and then we'll also talk about what you can do in the case of your insurance company not paying for medication. So let's go through some common reasons as to why the insurance company won't pay. The first one we're going to talk about is a high dosage. It could be that the medication was prescribed to be taken too many times per day, or it could be just that the dosage of the milligrams is just really high, even though you're taking it once a day. For example, if a medication is supposed to be taken once a day and your doctor prescribes to be taking it 4 times a day, your insurance company might see a problem with that and might try to see exactly what's going on or why that prescriber did prescribe the medication that way. Another high dosage rejection includes, let's say that a medication should only be taken once a day, but the max dose is 40 milligrams, taking it once a day. Another instance of a high dosage rejection from your insurance company can include, let's say, for example, there's a medication where you shouldn't be taking more than 20 milligrams once a day, but for some reason your prescriber gave you a prescription for 40 milligrams once a day. Your insurance will also have an issue with that and probably cause a rejection at the pharmacy. Now, another common type of reason your insurance company won't pay for a medication is something called duplication of therapy. For example, if you're taking Advil, like your doctor prescribed you Advil, which is ibuprofen, and you got another prescription for a naproxen, which is Aleve. If those get processed through your insurance company, they might send a rejection saying that these are the exact same type of medication. Why does this person need to be on this? And that's one of those safety issues where even though your doctor might be changing you from Aleve to Advil, your insurance company might think that you're going to be taking those at the same time, and they'll want some further clarification. Another type of insurance rejection that could occur is something called refill too soon. What does that mean exactly? Well, your insurance company, when they get billed from the pharmacy, when you take a prescription to them, your insurance company gets some information that includes the number of days that prescription should last you. For example, if you got a medication, let's say it's a cholesterol medication, and you're supposed to be taking that medication once a day for 30 days and you got 30 tablets, your insurance company is going to know that you have 30 days before that prescription ends and before you can go back to the pharmacy for a refill. Now, they do give you a couple days of a buffer, I think sometimes it's 3 to 4 days if you want to go early to get your medication. But if you got a medication, let's say you picked up a medication on October 1st, and October 14th, you go to get that refilled, your insurance company is going to tell you that this is too soon and that you might have to wait until the end of the month to pick up that medication. Another reason that your insurance company might not pay for one of your medications is that the medication might be available over the counter. So if your medication is available over the counter, for example, let's say omeprazole. Omeprazole can be taken for acid reflux over the counter, but some doctors do decide to send in a prescription for that medication. So if your doctor sends in a prescription for omeprazole to take 20 milligrams and your insurance recognizes that that's available over the counter, they may not cover that medication because it's available over the counter. And usually they'd require you to have a higher dosage to be covered. So the last common reason that insurance companies usually don't pay for medications is that there's just plain out cheaper alternatives that are available. Sometimes doctors are going to prescribe some really expensive medications for you that are only available in brand name. There's no generics available, and this could happen for multiple reasons. It could be that it's really what's meant for you and it's really going to work, or they could have been courted by a drug representative that came in with some coupons and things like that. But your insurance company usually follows nationally recognized guidelines for most disease states. And some of these brand really expensive medications have been proven and are recommended by guidelines to be used for certain types of disease states. However, sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes a really expensive medication, the studies have found that it works just as good as the cheaper generic alternatives that are available. And in that case, your insurance won't pay for that medication usually. So there are some not so common reasons that your insurance company might not pay for your medications. One of those could be that they want you to have that medication delivered to your home. So if you're taking, let's say, a blood pressure medication that the insurance company knows that you have to take that medication every single day indefinitely until your prescriber says otherwise, your insurance company will recognize that and will prefer that they send you like a 90-day supply to your home of that medication, usually because it works out to be cheaper for the insurance company. And also it increases the chance that you'll continue to take that medication and be healthier over the course of that prescription. So that can get a little confusing. So let me just go over that one more time. So for example, if you're taking a birth control medicine, you're going to be taking that medication every single day. So if you come in with a prescription and it has refills on that prescription for, let's say, the year, and you go to fill that medication and your pharmacy processes it to fill for one pack, which is a 1 month supply, your insurance company would prefer that you get a 3-month supply of that medication delivered to your home. Sometimes they'll let you do the 3-month prescription at the pharmacy, but sometimes they'll want you to have it delivered to your home. That's just going to depend on the specific insurance plan that you have. Another not so common reason your insurance company won't pay for your medication is that the medication that you're using to treat a specific disease state has not been approved by the FDA. I've also seen cases where insurance companies won't pay for a medication if you haven't paid your insurance bill. So make sure you're up to date on those. And lastly, some insurance companies actually adopted the model of having a preferred pharmacy. So some insurance companies actually prefer that you go to a specific pharmacy to fill that medication. For example, if your insurance plan is contracted only with CVS Pharmacy and they're the preferred pharmacy, but you take that prescription to Walgreens or Rite Aid, then your insurance company is going to deny payment of that medication because you didn't bring it to their preferred pharmacy. So you're in the situation where your insurance company did not pay for your medications. What are your options? So in this situation that your insurance company didn't pay for your medications, you have 3 main options to take care of this. The first one is to pay out of pocket for that medication. Sometimes that can be reasonable, especially if the medication is, $5 or $10, let's say, and if that's, a reasonable price for you. Sometimes you can just ask the pharmacist, what's the cash price for this? If it's reasonable, you can just pay for that medication out of your own pocket. But sometimes it's not reasonable, where some medications just for a month's supply can cost hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The second option is to ask your pharmacist or healthcare provider if there are options that are available over the counter to use that don't require a prescription. And lastly, you can do something what's called a prior authorization. So a prior authorization, also known as a PA, is basically a fancy term your insurance company uses where they require further information from your prescriber as to why they're prescribing a certain medication for you. Now, the prior authorization process can occur for any of the above reasons that I talked about as to why your insurance company won't pay, but you usually don't know if a prior authorization is available to be completed until after processing your medication through the pharmacy. So here's how the prior authorization process works. First, your pharmacy will be notified by the insurance company that your prescription is not covered and there's a prior authorization or PA that can be completed. There's going to be a form that will be sent to your prescriber from the pharmacy where your prescriber is going to be asked a couple questions as to what's going on, what you may have tried before, and as to why they're prescribing this particular medication. That form is then sent off to the insurance company where they review the information and make a decision as to whether they're going to agree to pay for your medication or deny that PA request. In the event that the prior authorization is declined, there's also another step that can be further completed, which is called an appeal that the prescriber can then complete with your insurance company if for some reason the prior authorization was denied. So I'm pretty confident that I covered 99% of the issues that you would have in terms of your insurance company not paying for your medications. But if you feel like I missed something or your situation is more complicated or you've tried all these things, please feel free to reach out to me. You can shoot me an email at richard@medvize.com. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. Take care. And that is and your prescription is random disease state.
Blood pressure.
I already used that one. Diabetes.